This segment of DelmarvaLife is sponsored by Benvenuto Restaurant in Milford.
Throughout the years, we've learned that every dish at Benvenuto Restaurant tells a unique story. Chef Jesus Gordiani has been fortunate enough to tell us many of those stories in the Kitchen Concepts kitchen.
But one of those stories you may not have heard, how Benvenuto came to be the restaurant it is today. DelmarvaLife's James McDonald tells us that story and shows us how faith played a big part in the legacy it has today.
Benvenuto Restaurant has graced the town of Milford with its exceptional cuisine and elegant atmosphere. An establishment this extraordinary, one might expect, has quite the story. And this one does. It starts in 2005 when Lisa and Pancho Johnson bought their house.
We gave it back to God and said, you have given us this, and now we want to make sure that we give it back to you to do what you want to do with it.
His plans would slowly begin to unfold with a trip to the supermarket.
The lady at the deli, Dee, says, would you be willing to put your new house you've done on the house tour? And I said no.
But as she wandered the aisles, something stirred.
I was haunted by, I say, the Holy Spirit that kept saying, whose house is this?
And so it took its place on the tour.
We were always the last stop. All the food was here, so people would gather and just celebrate the season and the night.
They started hosting events of all kinds. Tita Lewis is the past president of the auxiliary and the treasurer of the foundation for the local hospital. She remembers fondly a fundraiser they hosted here.
People in Milford are very generous and they support local events, so they always support the hospital. But I think to have it here in this beautiful place was an added benefit to us.
By the time Tita hosted a second event here, they had developed this dreamy backyard, essentially transformed into a tropical island. The property became affectionately known as Sunset Cove. That spot also made for a perfect place to collect toys for a toy drive that Lisa and Pancho themselves started with the Milford Police Department.
They saw a need to help the community out, and they contacted the police department and said, hey, we'd like to be a part of your toy drive. And the police department was like, we don't have a toy drive. So they're like, well, can we help you start one? And that's kind of where it started.
Their son, Colby, was also an inspiration. They wanted to teach him about giving, not getting.
I always thought that was about me, me, me. Now I realize that if you give more to God, He will bless you in whatever you need.
And this program has, of course, touched so many children right in our backyard.
I've been lucky enough to deliver some of the toys and see who gets to benefit from the donations that we get.
Helping people through hosting. That's what Lisa and Pancho do, and they say that mission didn't come from them.
I think it comes from God, because we don't ever want it to be about us. We want it to be about Him and what He's given us to share with everybody.
And they'd soon share in another way, opening a restaurant. But first, they needed a chef. It just so happened that one day they had a meeting with one of their suppliers who brought along Zeus Gordiani, at the time a former chef, and there was no question he was the one.
When they left, Pancho and I looked at each other and we said, if we ever have a restaurant, there's our chef.
Zeus originally had no real interest in returning to the kitchen, but after meeting Lisa and Pancho, something started to shift.
At the time, I felt like I had the best job in the world. I really did, but something kept telling me, look into it, look into it, look into it, look into it.
Lisa and Pancho prayed with their church community, and one day in April, Chef came down to pray too.
So we were in that circle, and that was the day that he said, I guess we're moving to Delaware.
The space they'd selected on Front Street was much bigger than they originally anticipated.
And I kept saying, God, this does not make sense. Why would you want us to do something this large when we've never done a restaurant before?
That answer would come in the middle of the pandemic. Benvenuto Restaurant opened a month before the world went quiet. And once businesses slowly began to reopen, it all made sense.
I knew why it was so big. Because we could seat like 80 people. So there was the answer. God has led us all the way through to where we are today.
And whether it's their Sunset Cove home or Benvenuto Restaurant, these two have made places for everyone to belong in the best of ways.
They used to always just say they didn't know how we did it. And I'm saying, well, we don't either.
But they're sure glad they did. And these two, Zeus and so many others, can enjoy the fruits of that labor for years to come.
And just like Lisa and Pancho began doing all those years ago, Benvenuto Restaurant continues to host various events for the community throughout the year. And as you just saw, Benvenuto Restaurant gives back every year with that community toy drive.
Coming up next, we'll take a closer look at their work with Take My Hand Ministry and learn why giving back this time of year matters to people across Delmarva. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This segment of DelmarvaLife is sponsored by Benvenuto Restaurant in Milford.
Well, we're lucky enough to have Chef Zeus from Benvenuto Restaurant as a regular in the Kitchen Concepts kitchen, always bringing the fun, facts, and all the flavor. But as we learned before the break, faith also plays a massive role in the foundation of what makes Benvenuto so special.
It's the kind of faith that engenders a strong sense of humility, generosity, and the belief that being part of the community and giving back is a duty we're all beholden to. So these are some of the values that Take My Hand Ministry and the Milford Police Department have gotten together to uphold. And we've got a couple of familiar faces on the couch here in Historic Studio D today. It's Colby Johnson, a founding member of Take My Hand Ministry and son of the owners of Benvenuto Restaurant. And we have our friend, Chef Jesus Gordiani, or as we lovingly call him, Chef Zeus. He is here as well. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so let's start off. We've discussed some of the backstory of how you, Zeus, got involved with Benvenuto Restaurant, but I want to talk a little bit more about this toy drive and how it became.
So it all started out when I was roughly about 5 years old. It was a time where, as a little kid, I thought it was all about me. So my parents wanted to find another way of getting something out of me, saying it's not all about me, it's about giving back. So we found that our local police department does not do one, so we wanted to start one with them.
A toy drive.
Yes. So when we started it, it was a time where it was Robbie Maston who was the one that helped us out in it. Then Gary Bailey was captain at the time, and so we had almost like it's basically a toy drive, but the kids will bring it to our house. Then after we did all that, we would hop on a hay wagon and they'll block traffic for us, and we'll take all the packages down to the police station. Once we drop it there, we would take it down in their basement. We would put it underneath a Christmas tree with all of us together as a photo. Then we would all ride back. We did that for a couple of years. And then after a lot of people did not want to ride on the hay wagon anymore, but we were still getting a lot of gifts.
It's the kids, they got older.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Then after that, we just started having a complimentary breakfast at the house. And then after all that, when we started the restaurant, we just started doing it at the restaurant.
Makes sense,
Okay.
yeah. So tell us a little bit about Take My Hand Ministry.
Take My Hand Ministry is a nonprofit group that my parents started, and it's basically a give back kind of deal where they would just give back to the community.
So Zeus, obviously this time of year is a great time of the year to really give back.
Oh,
Why
yes.
do you?
It really is, and and I think we all do. We all tend to give back, especially this time of year. But it's wonderful with Benvenuto. Right before we opened, actually, 2019 was the first time we did it at the restaurant. And we had a complimentary brunch for anybody that would bring, a toy in, a wrapped toy, or gift for a child. So then we kind of switched it up, and what we do now is, if you bring, so this Friday and Saturday, all right, if you bring in a wrapped gift, all right, tagged, gender, whatever, and or a $25 gift card, all right, we will give you a $25 gift card to the restaurant.
Nice.
Right? So it's just a wonderful way for, if you guys, give to a child in our community, we will also give you a gift. So it's really nice. It's, and look, we have folks that come in, they'll bring, 3, 4, 5 gifts and just say, here, just give me a $25 gift
Right.
card, which is really nice. And it really touches your heart. It does. So, and also keep in mind that these gifts they're local. This is for local causes, and the police department take all these gifts and they kind of distribute them out to all these different organizations that they work with. So it's a really good thing to do for the community. So we're very blessed to be a big part of that.
Right.
Yes.
You have other things coming up for everyone? At
We
Benvenuto?
do. I mean, look, we have, again, we have the toy drive this Friday and Saturday. We also have our Tour of Tuscany wine dinner or wine event. That's this Saturday. And that's 9 traditional courses, right? Paired with 5 amazing Tuscan wines. So we're really excited for that. We also have a gingerbread house competition, all right? That's going to take place on December 18th, all right? I'll tell you this real quick. First prize is a KitchenAid artisan stand mixer with the pasta attachment. It's beautiful. It's red. This thing's like $700 something, all right? Second prize is $300 worth of baking supplies from Williams-Sonoma, and third place is a $200 basket of Williams-Sonoma baking supplies. So just bring it in, come in for dinner. You can come in as early as 4. I think that the judging is going to begin around 7:30, and by closing time, which is 9 o'clock, we'll have announced all the winners. So a lot of really cool stuff coming up. Go on our website, check it out. Lots of fun stuff at Benvenuto.
All right, Zeus and Colby, thank you so much.
Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Colby.
Merry Christmas to you too.